I'd landed a tutoring gig for the richest, most popular girl in school, and man, the paycheck was insane. But instead of getting envy from my colleagues, all I got were pitying looks. The girl? She was the school's notoriously obsessive Chloe, whose possessiveness was basically legendary. Touch anything of hers, and you were doomed. I was her 18th tutor. Just then, the agent, Mr. Wallace, slid a contract across the table. Ethan, I'll ask you once. Are you in or out? $100,000 up front. It's exactly what you need for your mom's surgery. I was about to say no, but bam, the image of my mom in that hospital bed, buried under a mountain of bills, flashed in my head. I clenched my jaw. Yeah, I'm in. For her, I wasn't just tutoring an obsessive. I'd go to hell and teach calculus to the devil himself. Next day, on my way to the gig, memories from a past life hit me like a truck. I realized I'd been reincarnated into a young adult novel, and my student, Chloe Sterling, was the story's main villain. In the book, she gets dangerously obsessed with the cheerful, popular male lead, Liam, and destroys any girl who gets close to him. Everything ends tragically, her family ruined, her life in shambles, thanks to the hero and heroine. And me? Just an unnamed background character about to tutor this she-evil. Basically, a death wish. I quickly ran through survival rules in my head. Rule 1. Maintain distance, physically and psychologically. Rule 2. Be a robot. No smiling, no emotion, just a teaching machine. Rule 3. Focus on the mission. Get her grades up fast, so she could get into college far away from Liam. As long as she didn't cross paths with him, the plot wouldn't touch me. The second her college exams were done, I'd take the money and vanish. Following the address on the contract, I soon found myself in front of a massive Beverly Hills mansion. The butler led me to a bedroom door on the second floor and knocked. Miss Sterling, your tutor is here. A lazy, irritated teenage voice floated out. Tell him to get lost. The butler looked embarrassed, but I just nodded. Got it. The book mentioned Chloe had a 3-minute record for scaring off tutors her dad hired. Deep breath. I pushed the door open. Chloe was lounging on her side on the bed, long pale legs crossed casually, reading a graphic novel, not even looking up. Tell him to get lost. Are you deaf? I acted like I didn't hear her, walked to her desk, dropped my bag, pulled out my lesson plans and practice tests. Miss Sterling, I'm Ethan. I'll be your math tutor for the next 3 months. According to our contract, if you personally prevent these sessions from happening, I'm still entitled to the full $400,000 your father already paid. Also, I'll be reporting your attitude directly to him. That got a reaction. She slowly sat up, then stood right in front of me. Tall, intimidating, only a few inches shorter than me. You're not afraid of me. I'm here to teach math, I said flatly. It's a job. Fear doesn't enter it. Other tutors blushed or ran after one word. Chloe reached a finger to poke me. I sidestepped, more space between us. Miss Sterling, conduct yourself appropriately. I grabbed a test from her desk. This was your last diagnostic exam. You scored 32 out of 150. You answered C for every multiple choice. Honestly, you were lucky. My tone. Clinical as a coroner reading an autopsy report. The smirk on Chloe's face froze. Likely never met a guy immune to her charms. I've created a strict study schedule. 7 to 10 every evening. During that time, your phone, laptop, graphic novels, anything not related to studies, is confiscated. We maintain at least 3-foot distance. No unnecessary contact. No personal questions. What gives you the right to tell me what to do? Your father paid me $400,000, I said. And I'm a professional. The room went dead quiet. I braced for screaming, security, the works. Instead, she laughed. Interesting. Fine. I agree, Ethan. Strange emphasis on my name. Gut said nope, this wasn't going as planned. Chloe was a demon, no intention of making it easy. She verbally agreed, but tested every boundary. First day, answered the door in a silk slip dress, legs on full display. I ignored it, slapped a prep book on the table. Miss Sterling, let's begin. Today, functions. Next day, she tried a new tactic. While I explained, her eyes weren't on the board. They were on me. Ethan, you're really handsome. Way better than the most popular guy. I didn't look up. Thanks. Did you get the auxiliary line for this problem? Ethan, do you have a girlfriend? No. What kind of girls do you like? Our agreement forbids personal questions. Waste time, and sessions go to 11. She deflated instantly. Nice try. Pro moves only. Third day, analytic geometry. Suddenly, she cries out, clutching her hand. Coffee spilled on the desk. Red hand. Classic scene from the novel. She was testing me. Hero Liam would have fussed gently, winning her attention. Me? Safe option, detached. I pulled out my phone, buzzed the butler, flat robotic voice. Flush minor burns with cool running water, 20 minutes. No ointments. If blisters, seek medical attention. Butler's on the way. I turned back to my calculations. Silence. Felt Chloe's stare like X-ray beams. Overdid it. Too cold. Was she about to rage and throw me in the garden? Then a soft laugh. Ethan, you're a really interesting person. Interesting? I turned. Not anger. Eyes filled with unprecedented interest, a knowing smile. I wasn't caring, I thought. Just saving my own skin. After the burn, Chloe's attitude did a 180. No more tests. Homework done. Paid attention. Even poured water once. Didn't drink it. Never trust a demon. Grades skyrocketed. Then disaster. She wanted a change of scenery. Coffee shop near campus. Worst idea ever. Quiet place. I set up problems. Eyes closed thinking of mom's recovery. Here's your coffee. Bright, cheerful face. Liam. Male lead. What the hell? Book said he worked part-time jobs, but not this coffee shop. Before I could react, he spilled coffee on her notebook, the one with my notes. First meeting from the novel. He's supposed to win her obsession, ruining my $400,000 plan. Instinct. Grabbed his wrist. Don't bother. Chloe watched amused. My brain screamed, you idiot. Why now? Handle it, I told Liam. Fixed the notebook, grabbed her wrist. Too loud. We're leaving. Outside, relief, short-lived. Ethan, were you jealous back there? Jealous? Survival. Mind racing. Shut that down. I went full school principal. Miss Sterling, that waiter ruined my work. Your priority, studying. My time, valuable. She didn't buy it. Smile widened. On tiptoe, whispered. You're so cute when you lie. Just scared I might look at another guy, weren't you? Freeze. How does this girl's brain even work? How does she twist self-preservation into he's secretly in love with me? Lunatic author. After the coffee shop incident, plan had to speed up. I cranked our daily sessions up from 3 hours to 4, thinking I could bury Chloe under a mountain of work so big she'd have zero energy left for her crazy ideas. Yeah, turns out I seriously underestimated her. Her brain was like some kind of supercomputer. The way she learned was straight up terrifying. My high-pressure strategy didn't slow her down at all. If anything, it backfired hard. Her grades actually shot up. And at the same time, her whole mission to win me over leveled up. She started giving me gifts, and every single one felt like a knockout punch. First, it was a Peck Philippe watch. I shut that down immediately. Miss Sterling, I'm your tutor. I can't accept something this expensive. Chloe just rested her chin in her hand and smiled at me. Why not? I think it's perfect. It'd look amazing on you. My phone tells time just fine, I said. And taking gifts isn't part of our contract. She didn't push it. But the very next day, the butler showed up with a custom-made suit, complete with a shirt and cufflinks, all exquisitely tailored from the finest materials. I sent the box back unopened. On day 3, she stopped being subtle. She casually tossed an MX black card onto the table. The pin is your birthday. Buy whatever you want. I stared at the card for a second, too shocked to even ask how she knew my birthday, then slid it back to her, my face dead serious. Chloe, I'm saying this one last time. I am not for sale. I took this job to pay for my mother's medical bills. That's it. This is strictly professional. Please stop insulting me with this stuff. Instead of getting mad, Chloe's eyes filled with tears. She looked at me with this intense mix of emotion, pity, obsession, something way too deep. Ethan, I knew you were different. You're not rejecting my gifts because you don't like me. You're rejecting them because what you really want is my heart, isn't it? I was so stunned I couldn't even talk. Lady, do you have a serious reading comprehension problem? What part of anything I just said gave you that idea? I just stared at her, and my brain completely short-circuited. Then she grabbed my hand, staring at me like she was swearing some sacred oath. Don't worry. I won't test you with material things anymore. I'll prove my love through my actions. Before I could stop her, she shoved a thermal lunchbox into my hands. I made this for you myself. From now on, I'll make your lunch every day. I stood there holding the warm container, totally frozen. I'd turned down a literal fortune only to end up with a packed lunch. What was my life even at this point? Looking into her eyes, shining with hope and affection, I felt real, bone-deep fear for the first time. This woman was completely lost in a fantasy romance she'd made up, and I was the poor guy cast as the male lead. After the lunchbox incident, my fight for survival got even worse. Chloe's lunches of love became a daily thing. I had to eat them, but I couldn't say they were good or she'd get even more encouraged. So every day, I mechanically ate every bite with a blank face and gave her a simple thank you. She was thrilled. I felt like I was walking a tightrope over a pit of fire, totally drained. The only thing keeping me sane was knowing the college entrance exams were getting closer. My nightmare was almost over. Or so I thought. Fate clearly had other plans. One afternoon, right after finishing Chloe's lunch, I was heading to the library when Jessica, one of the most popular girls in my year, cornered me. In the novel, she was one of Liam's many admirers. Now she stood there, looking at me like I was trash. "Ethan, I never thought you were that kind of person." "What kind of person?" "The kind who sells his dignity for money," she sneered. "Playing lapdog for that psycho Chloe Sterling. I heard she even brings you lunch every day. How does it feel being a rich girl's pet?" Her words triggered a wave of whispers around us. I clenched my teeth, frustration twisting my gut. I knew this scene. Straight out of the book. In the novel, Jessica humiliates some poor guy trying to get close to Chloe. Then Chloe sees it and ruins her life. Now, that poor guy was me. Right on cue, a cold, authoritative voice cut through the whispers behind me. "Who did you just call a lapdog?" I turned around. Chloe stood a few feet away, arms crossed, eyes icy. The crowd vanished instantly. Jessica's face went ghost white. Seeing Jessica on the verge of tears, one thought hit me hard. I had to distance myself from Chloe right now. I couldn't let her hurt this girl, no matter how annoying she was. More than that, I couldn't let Chloe think I needed her protection. Before Chloe could move, I stepped forward, putting myself between them. I looked her straight in the eye. "Miss Sterling, our relationship is purely professional, based on a contract. This is my personal business. I'll handle it myself. You don't need to get involved." I said it as cold and detached as possible, hoping drawing a public line would snap her back to reality. Jessica stared at me like I'd lost my mind. Chloe's expression froze. This was it. She was mad. If she got mad enough, she'd fire me and I'd be free. Then she smiled. She walked past me, went straight up to Jessica, and gently patted her cheek. "You're right," she said softly. "Some people really do love being lapdogs." Then she turned, looped her arm through mine, rested her head on my shoulder, and smiled like I was her devoted boyfriend. "But what can I do?" she sighed dramatically. "I just happen to love my disobedient little lapdog." She leaned in and whispered, victorious. "Oh, Ethan, you're so sweet. You push me away publicly just to protect our little secret. The way you pretend not to care while still looking out for me. It's irresistible." In that moment, my entire sense of reality shattered. I saw everyone's stunned faces, saw Jessica staring like she'd seen a ghost, and all I wanted to do was scream at the sky. "God, please just strike me with lightning already." After the Jessica incident, I became infamous on campus. Chloe Sterling's kept man. Her new toy. The label stuck like glue. I ignored it all and stuck to my routine, dorm, cafeteria, Chloe's mansion. I tuned out the gossip and focused on work. Chloe liked my silence. In her head, I was protecting our secret love. In reality, I was just counting days until my sentence ended. Days dragged by in miserable isolation. Finally, exam week arrived. I walked Chloe to the testing center like an anxious dad, giving her one last pep talk after drilling everything into her head. If you get stuck, skip it and come back. If you have to guess, trust your gut. And once a test is over, it's over. Don't obsess. I rambled until I ran out of words. Chloe just watched me. Then she asked quietly, "Ethan, is this the last time we'll see each other?" That question hit harder than it should have, but logic kicked in. This was my escape. I stepped back, putting space between us. The contract is clear. Once your last exam ends, my job is over. Miss Sterling, I wish you the best. We won't see each other again. I turned and walked away without looking back. I couldn't. If I did, I'd break. The next 48 hours were hell. I stayed at the hospital with my mom, phone off, avoiding everything about Chloe. I felt like a guy on death row waiting for the verdict. Then I heard it, the final bell signaling the end of exams. It felt like a mountain lifted off me. I was free. That night, Mr. Wallace transferred the remaining money. I paid for the surgery immediately and set up my mom's aftercare. Standing in the hospital hallway, looking at the city lights, I felt hope for the first time. I decided that once my mom recovered, we'd leave Los Angeles. Chloe, Liam, this cursed novel, just bad memories. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. It was Chloe's father. Is this Ethan? Yes, Mr. Sterling. Chloe did exceptionally well. Ivy League level. We owe you. Please join us for a celebratory dinner tonight. Going back to that mansion felt like walking into a trap, but I couldn't refuse. This was my chance to end things properly. Of course. When I arrived, the mansion was dark. Silent. No cars. The butler led me inside. The master and madam were called away. They've flown to Europe. Miss Sterling is waiting. Panic exploded in my chest. This was a setup. I followed him anyway. The dining table was set for two, a massive cake in the center. Chloe sat at the head, glowing in candlelight. Ethan, you came. Welcome to our graduation party. Just the two of us. The doors locked behind me. Her parents had signed everything over to her. The mansion. The company. She handed me a gift. Inside were keys and a deed. The mansion is yours. Our home. I'll take care of you forever. I dropped everything. You're insane. I don't like you. I never liked you. I did this for money. The contract is over. Let me go. I figured that would be enough to completely smash her little fantasy. But nah. She just listened in silence. That soft, creepy calm smile glued to her face the whole time. When I finally finished, she let out a quiet sigh, her eyes packed with pity. Oh, Ethan, she said. There you go again, saying the exact opposite of what you really mean. It's okay though. She clapped her hands twice. Just like that. The dining room doors swung open and two stone-cold security guards in black suits walked in. Instantly, my spine went ice cold. This is the only way, she said gently, but there was no room for argument. Once we cross this line, you'll never even think about leaving me again. And just like that, boom, I was her prisoner. Except my prison wasn't some dark, moldy basement. Nope. It was Chloe's massive, bubblegum pink bedroom. The only real change was the balcony. Thick steel security bars, each one thicker than my arm. I was basically her pet bird, stuck in a gold-plated cage. At first, I fought like hell. I trashed the room, smashed anything fragile I could get my hands on. The next day, the butler calmly replaced everything with the exact same stuff, sometimes even pricier. Chloe would just hug me, sounding all worried. Ethan, please don't hurt yourself. Then I tried going silent. Like, full shutdown mode. Days without saying a word. Didn't faze her at all. She'd just sit next to me, reading out loud, rambling about her day at work, or sometimes just staring at me. That crushing loneliness mixed with her constant, unsettling gaze. Way worse than any physical punishment. That's when it hit me. Fighting back was useless. She was enjoying breaking me. I started replaying everything in my head. Where did it all go wrong? Should I have never taken the job? Should I have let Liam spill that coffee? Or was I screwed the moment I stepped foot into this mansion? That night, Chloe was wrapped around me in her sleep like an octopus, same as always. I breathed in the clean scent of her hair, felt her warmth pressed against me, and suddenly realized, sick to my stomach, that I was getting used to it. In the dark, I spoke. Chloe, what do you even like about me? It made zero sense. I'd been cold, rude, dismissive from day one. What was there to love? She cuddled closer, her voice heavy with sleepy happiness. I love everything about you, she said. I love how serious you look when you teach me, like math is the most important thing on earth. I love how you pretend you're annoyed, but you were the most worried person in the room when I burned my hand. I love how possessive you got, dragging me out of that coffee shop so I wouldn't look at another guy. I love how you act like you don't care, rejecting all my gifts when it's obvious you do. So that was it. Every desperate attempt I made to protect myself, she twisted into some deep, awkward love confession. It was so ridiculous I almost laughed. In her eyes, I was some tortured romantic hero. Ethan, you don't have to pretend anymore, she whispered. In here, all you have to do is love me. And for the first time, my resolve cracked. I'd escaped the novel's plot, sure, but not the prison she'd built and called love. That's when I stopped fighting. Not surrender, strategy. I realized the more I resisted, the more excited she got. Her whole, "your resistance proves your love" logic was unbeatable. So I played along. I started eating without being told. Made small talk. Even brought her a glass of water while she worked. The change was instant. Chloe looked happier, calmer. She stopped monitoring my every move and even let me roam the first floor. One day, she ditched work completely. "Ethan, I want to show you something." Before I could say anything, she shoved a tablet into my hands. A password-protected folder popped up. She typed in a long number. My birthday. Inside were hundreds of photos and videos. The first video was security footage from the front gate, the day I arrived. Then another, and another. All of me, filmed from hidden, invasive angles. My arm hair stood straight up. How long had she been watching me? She swiped to a photo from the day Jessica confronted me. "See? You stood up to the most popular girl in school for me." Another swipe. Me frowning over a book in the library. "You were thinking about me here, weren't you? That's why you look so conflicted." I was stressing over my mom's surgery bills, but Chloe was deep in her own story, laying out proof after proof. Then she played an audio file. "My mom's surgery is 400,000 short. It's an emergency. I'll do it." Hearing my own desperate voice froze me solid. She knew even that. She stopped the recording, tears shining in her eyes. "Ethan, stop lying to yourself. You didn't do it for the money. You knew I needed a tutor, so you went to Mr. Wallace and planned all of this just to get close to me, didn't you? You made up the surgery story because you were scared my father wouldn't approve. You did all of this for me. So why did you try to run away?" My brain straight up shut down. Looking at her, so sincere, so full of love, I felt doubt creep in for the first time. Was it possible? Was I actually the romantic lead and just too dumb to realize it? No. Impossible. I was just surviving. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. I knew any explanation would just become more evidence in her closed-loop logic. And so the days rolled on, twisted, absurd, and weirdly sweet. I got used to being a pet, and in her own messed-up way, Chloe treated me incredibly well. She remembered everything. I hated cilantro. I liked the window seat. I needed pitch darkness to sleep. She learned to cook my favorite meals. When I couldn't sleep, she'd hold me and hum lullabies from my childhood. She gave me everything, except freedom. Sometimes, watching her sleep, a dangerous thought crept in. If it weren't for the novel, if not for knowing her tragic fate, would I have fallen for this beautiful, brilliant, insanely devoted girl back in school? Yeah, probably. I wondered if I feared her obsession, or the ending I knew she was supposed to have. But I'd wrecked the plot completely. She wasn't chasing Liam anymore. I was the center of her universe. Was she even the same villain now? All I knew was the ice around my heart was melting. One evening, Chloe came home exhausted. Sterling Corp was facing new challenges, the opening moves of Liam's rise in the original story. She didn't say a word, just collapsed into my arms. "Ethan, I'm so tired." Without thinking, I patted her back. "Then get some rest." First voluntary affection I'd shown her since being locked up. She froze. Then my shirt got wet. She was crying and laughing, clinging to me like a koala, kissing my neck. "I love you, Ethan. I love you so much." She barely slept that night. I woke up wrecked, head pounding, body aching like I'd been hit by a truck. Chloe lay beside me, peaceful, smiling. Then I saw the sheets. It was over. I'd slept with her. In the novel, I was nobody. Now I'd slept with the main villain. Could I still disappear? As my thoughts spiraled, Chloe stirred, nuzzling my chest like a kitten. Feeling her total dependence, something inside me snapped. What was left to fear? The villain was mine. I pulled her closer. "Chloe, stop calling me your tutor. Call me Ethan." After that, I quit fighting. I gave up escape plans and became Chloe's kept man. She fought corporate wars. I stayed home and learned to cook. She loved it. Every day, she'd rush into the kitchen and hug me from behind. "What's for dinner?" she'd ask, like a hungry kitten. Freed from the novel's romance, she poured all her obsessive energy into business, and she was terrifyingly good at it. Liam's genius strategies were a joke. Within months, she destroyed his company so thoroughly that he and his girlfriend fled the city. I heard the news while watering succulents on the balcony. Chloe hugged me from behind. "That Liam guy won't bother us anymore," she said proudly. I felt strangely detached. The man who once terrified me had been erased. It was my 22nd birthday. I assumed she forgot. That night, I made pasta. Just as I sat down, the door opened. Chloe walked in with a massive cake, and behind her, movers carrying a grand piano. Happy birthday, Ethan. She remembered. A childhood dream I'd mentioned once. Later that night, she did something different. She pulled away, grabbed a folder, and handed me a document. Ethan, are you ready to sign a contract that lasts a lifetime? It was a marriage license. Signed. I looked at her, then smiled. I do, Miss Sterling. For life. After all, the payment for this contract was her entire life. And I, Ethan, am a teacher with very strong professional ethics.